Hello and welcome to the Great Debaters Contest. I'm your host, George Karaoke. Thank you for joining us. In this new age of increased transparency and accountability, there is a move towards increased responsibility from leaders when campaigning. Our topic today looks into this critical issue. The motion reads, "Negative advertising in political campaigns should be banned." Let's see how our participating schools this week will handle this very important leadership focus.
The motion this week is negative advertising in political campaigns should be banned. Proposing the motion, JAMHURI High School. Opposing the motion, Dagoretti High School. Each contestant has 3 minutes to make their submissions. The audience also gets a chance to put their questions to each team. Each side will have an additional 1 minute to make a final statement. The judge's decision is final. But in a twist, the audience also gets to have their say through the popular vote. This will see an extra 5% added to the school that wins this vote.
Proposal number one, you have the floor. You have 3 minutes to argue your motion.
I'm Murti from JAMHURI High School. A bad item advertises itself, while a good item sells itself. Well, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, I salute you all with the utmost honor and respect. I'm here to propose the motion which goes, negative advertising in political campaigns should be banned in Kenya. Politics is it is the use of power to rule a person, or rather a state or a society, while banning is to officially illegalize something or prohibit when it is believed to be harmful, toxic, or negative to the development, or to negative to something, obviously. And then actually advertising is popularizing, praising something in order to make it known to the public. Well, I agree that negative advertising in political campaigns should be banned in Kenya because it promotes hatred and division. Of course, if it has to be promoted, and then politicians, some politicians who have no vision for the country, for nationalism, for patriotism, anything like that, will use the same trick and the tactics to get to the power only to feel like he's an infallible lord, or rather like forgetting that he is a trustee in the office. Of course, the Kenyans, millions of Kenyans who actually believe they are the leaders who will lead them from suffering to success, from shortcuts to success, and they are the ones who will finally end up leading the country from shortcuts to chaos. Then, if you have to be actually negatively influenced by advertising them to elect such leaders, or rather such politicians, on the basis of bribery, regionalism, euphoria, patronage, then how would you expect change, development, growth, and the vision 2030 which we actually collectively believe in? I leave for you to wonder about that. And then, it may sound vulgar, but I believe, and I don't intend to offend, or rather to be offensive to anybody, but Africans, I believe in one saying that goes, it is only a foolish monkey that climbs a tree in a burning forest. And then I believe it's only a foolish citizen that votes such leaders who will actually doesn't differentiate between mayhem and make-hay, pilferage and productivity, corruption and contribution, only to make sure to only end up the country into chaos. And then how do you expect change? Keep wondering. It also contradicts the national goals of education. Of course, education is supposed to kind of instill moral uprightness, understanding, nationalism, patriotism in everybody. Then patriotism is actually not a fanfare, but it is a warfare. Therefore, it is the purpose of every Kenyan, the dream of every Kenyan, to fight against negative advertisement in political campaigns in Kenya. Thank you very much, and thanks heaps, everybody.
Opposer number 1, you have 3 minutes to argue your motion.
I'm Brian Thungu from Dagoretti High School. I am not basically of the idea that negative advertising in political campaigns should be banned. Politicians are fond of defaming other politicians or working against them and policies for their own benefit or in turn for the benefit of the society. I'll take an example. In Kenya, politics, as we all know, is a dirty game, so it's tit for tat. So anytime I humiliate you in public, you'll also get back at me by humiliating me in public. So you can say that politics will work at defaming people all the time. So on to my first point, I will say that I will support my point by saying that by opposing the motion that negative advertising in political campaigns should be banned, I will speak and say that there is a wide scale of variances for the voters to pick. Take, for example, in Kenya, we are in the year where we are holding our elections. We have the leaders whereby they are campaigning all the time. So there is this leader A, who will campaign and give and read the manifesto to the people. Then there is the leader B, who will read the manifesto to the people and give what he will do to the people. So after all that controversies of me wanting to overshine you and everything, we'll find that us as voters will be left in a better position to look at the leader who we can see is the best one, because out of the filth that has come from the leader A, the filth that has come from the leader B, we have been able to depict something that is tangible so that we can elect this leader that we want to take. Another issue is that another point, on to the next point, is that this negative advertising in political campaigns should be banned. I will say that it should not be banned because it distinguishes boys from men. I'll say boys from men because I'll use symbolism by saying boys as politicians and men as leaders. The rate of stimulus infliction is directly proportional to the rate of response that a leader will save himself from the compromising situation. I will explain that by saying this. After a leader has been involved in a controversy, take for example the scandals that we have been seeing in Kenya, a leader is involved in corruption and all that. After that controversy has died off, we will see that a good leader will come out strong, but a weak leader, who I'm referring to as a boy, will come out as a weakling. So we can decipher that we'll choose the strong leader because out of the compromising situation, he has been able to come out victorious. Thank you.
Let's hear from proposer number 2. You have 3 minutes.
From JAMHURI High School, I am Charles Kariuki, strongly proposing the motion, negative advertising in political campaigns should be banned in Kenya. The freedom of expression. The freedom of expression has been used as a cover for all manner of unethical behaviors in Kenya. Unethical behaviors such as making of hate speech. Leaders have started taking advantage of hate speech to instill fear and disunity among us Kenyans. A good example is the previous post-election violence. And the funniest thing is that after the post-election violence, Kenya experienced a widespread strike by the Kenyan high schools. So that leaves me wondering, where do these students emulate their behavior from? Where do they get these uncouth characteristics from? Is it our leaders? I don't know. Is it from this negative advertising in political campaigns? That I leave unto you to ponder. It is said that a dog wags its tail. But then again, a wag tells its dog. I know, I have tried to confuse you with common sense. But in the same way, our politicians do that to us. They take advantage of our sheer ignorance. They take advantage of our sheer ignorance and they prey on the negativity of their opponents, trying to show us what's bad about my opponent by making these comments, by advertising negatively. Seriously, at the time that we are in now as Kenyans, should we focus really on these issues, especially now that we are aiming in the realization of Vision 2030? Can reforms really be done when our own role models are having wrangles among them. Also, nowadays, it's like a trend nowadays that negative words and habits have become a trend in national television. Whenever you watch the news, it cannot end without somebody saying something ill about somebody else. That's why even nowadays, kids can just abuse somebody. They can even insult themselves because they are copying what they are seeing. You know, it is said that when a tiger bites a man, people say that the tiger went mad. No, the tiger didn't go mad. The tiger went tiger. That's why it's behaving in the way it is. So the parents should not even punish the kids. The parents should go back and think, what's making these kids do this? It's from this negative advertisement that are usually we see in our daily lives. So this thing is something that should be taken with utmost seriousness. It's something that should be shunned off. And by this, Kenyans will rest assured that they'll not see the kind of shenanigans we see in the political realm, and the future leaders will have fun knowing that they'll not inherit the dubious accolades left by the previous leaders. Thank you.
First and foremost, I'm here strongly and with so much conviction for the point that negative advertisements should be encouraged in Kenya. First and foremost, to just rectify my friend here, what's wrong with me pointing out your weakness on you so be able to improve it and become a better person? Is there anything wrong with that? Okay, and to my first point. Negative advertisement brings about good governance. How does it come about? For example, the government that is currently at running the state, if we keep on pinpointing its negatives, pinpointing its failures, criticizing it, don't you think that it will strengthen its faults, be able to lead Kenya in a better way to improve it and become economically stable, and Africa as a region will improve? Don't you think so? For example, in Kenya, we had an issue with corruption. Corruption is a major issue in Kenya. So what did Kenya do to counter that? Through attacks from other politicians, it was able to come up with the ICC, the CAC. Sorry, not the ICC, the CAC. To be able to counter that corruption. So with that, we're able to improve and have good governance. And next to my point is perfecting on weaknesses. You see, when you are attacked, how do you take it? That's the question. You're a leader. You don't use your emotions, use your brain. When you are attacked, you take that attack as okay, they say that, the wise men say that you should use the stones that people throw at you to build your house. So when those stones are thrown at you, use them to do what? To perfect yourself. On to my next point, it improves the leader's character. The leader's characters are improved through criticizing them. By the leaders thoroughly criticizing each other, we're able to learn what kind of leaders we have. There's some Swahili saying goes that what he's saying actually could be true, and if it's not true, wait for it, it's coming, it's on the way. So what is said about our leaders, there's some truth in it, and if it's negative, it's up to us Kenyans to learn that thing is negative and be able to disclose those leaders from the polls when you go to the polls to vote. Also on the same, when a leader there is criticized, you know that I have a weakness in this, I have a flaw on this side of mine. What do I do? I perfect on it for me to become a better leader to lead Kenya in the best way, and Africa as a whole region. Finally, it kills ethnicity. What do I mean by this? In Kenya, there was the other day we had an issue with tribal clashes. There was this group called the GEMA, the Gikuyu, the Embu Meru Association. What they do, they came up trying to do what? Trying to merge as a community. So by us actually supporting negative advertisement, what they do, they think that we are supporting them. So they do what? They bring them into limelight for us to identify them, then counterattack them. How was that done? It was done using the Limuru 2 initiative. That group came up and able to attack this Gema group. By that, we were able to conquer the issue of what? The issue of tribalism in Kenya. And at large, when we go to Africa, to be about racism. Okay? Though not Africans are blacks. Now, by that, I just simply say that with the negative advertisements, we are able to learn from mistakes and able to strengthen them. And this will enable us to choose the best leaders. Thank you very much.
My name is Ahmed Maalim. from Thika High School, and I would like to ask the opposers, what does he mean by learning from their mistakes? If today a mistake is selling the Kenyans to other people, can they learn from there? Or else we are going to have destruction in the country. Please tell us more about that.
My name is Isaac Maora from Thika High School. You've said that by negative advertisement, or when politicians talk of negative things about each other, they will be able to pinpoint their weaknesses. But how are we certain that each and everything that a politician says against the other is true? Remember, like you said, politics is a dirty game. So what assurity are you going to give to the citizens that what I'm saying is true about this politician?
We all understand that Kenya has at least 42 tribes. And these tribes are divided among the population of Kenya. You belong to the other tribe, and I belong to this tribe. And you're speaking ill about me just because of a political difference. What will this insinuate to the people? They will think you're against their tribe, and that will cause tribalism amongst ourselves. We are going to fight amongst ourselves instead of moving forward as Kenyans. For Christ's sake, we are all Kenyans. We are going to fight against ourselves because tribalism will lead us to try and will lead us tend to fight against ourselves to prove that who is better than the other. We are all Kenyans, so a negative advertisement also causes corruption, whereby we as our leaders talking ill about each other. How do we know that you're saying the truth about him, or you just want to cover up, or you just want to say something? So negative advertisement in political campaigns should be banned in Kenya, completely banned, and underline that. And on to my point, if I can add, negative advertisement in political campaigns should be banned in Kenya because it creates political unrest. Imagine you're supporting another political party and I'm supporting the other one. Then you're talking ill about me. This tends to create tension amongst Kenyans, leading to what we faced in 2007, post-election violence. And this is killing people. This is killing Kenyans. We cannot move forward if you're going to fight against ourselves. Our leaders are supposed to be our mirrors. On to my next point. It also brings poor self-image, whereby you're talking ill against me. What will the people say? What will the people say about you? Is that you hate me, and hatred in the society is not accepted. Hatred is a vice, and if we hate each other, we are not going to move forward together. We are not going to sit down, bring our heads together, and move to a better Kenya, since we hate each other. And if our forefathers that fought for this country, if they had put tribalism in their minds, would you be here? Ask yourself, will you be here? They came together, despite being having many tribes. They came together as Kenyans to fight for this country. That's why I'll tell you, you're enjoying this, because people fought for you. They put aside their tribes and fought for you guys to enjoy this. Thank you.
Opposer number three, you have 3 minutes.
The thing is that the law has provisions that will allow the other politician to be able to sue. You have the provision, you can sue the person in case the information is not true. So I don't see any issue in that. And to answer the other question on how do we learn from their mistakes, first things, one thing, and I believe you'll all agree with me, that negative advertising on political campaigns provides a platform for learning, and a learning platform for future leaders. When you look at me, you see a student. When I look at you, young ladies and gentlemen, I see future leaders. We are all leaders, aren't we? And the thing is this, I believe that
it is the most opportune moment to get the truth from our politicians is at the time when they're engaging in political, negative political advertisements, isn't it? So I believe that once the ills of the politicians are exposed, we are able to get to learn from there, and we also cultivate that positive political qualities in us so that we can utilize them in the future. And also to support this point, as a matter of fact, the politicians once they hear their opponents engaging in negative advertising, they are able to know that in each step that they take, there's a watchdog, and they will be able to careful in each step they take. And as a result, this will lead to good governance. And also on the issue of reputation, I want to ask this one question: where is the need of covering up or trying to, how will you ruin a reputation that was not there at the beginning, even at the beginning? Yeah, there's no need. And to conclude, I believe you'll all agree with me that negative advertising on political campaign is positive politics. Thank you.
Politicians whose main claim to fame is an appetite for office. The leaders who do not have goals which have deep meaning, dreams that need completion, and the poor love that needs expression, of which actually it leads backwards instead of going forwards, joining hands, bringing nationalism among every Kenyan, believing that Kenya is for Kenyans and for everyone, and it belongs to us all. But it is as if Kenya belongs to a specific family, a specific tribe. Thereby, negative advertisements are supposed to be banned, and I believe in that. Thanks very much.
Opposing team, you have 1 minute. Opposing number 1.
A leader is an opinion leader. So anytime a leader will give an opinion, we won't say that it's a fact. We don't need to follow the opinions that leaders give us. Everyone is an individual, so you have the entitlement to give your fact and your opinion according to how you see it. If we are allowed to be manipulated by these leaders who always give us their opinions and their way of thought, we'll never become men who can sustain themselves. Thank you.
I give it to the judges now.
Thank you very much for a very insightful debate. Negative advertising in political campaigns should be banned. And, what came out so strongly is that both teams were very passionate about whatever it is that they were defending. We have a very good introduction, a good definition of key terms in the motion, which sets the ball rolling, and this is from both sides. The reasons as to why you propose or oppose the motion, from both sides are given. There's also very good use of symbolism, in the debate. Very good arguments, whether it is that whether you're proposing or opposing your motion. Just a couple of things that we want to bear in mind. The correct use of terminology. I don't know. I'm yet to come across the word advertisation. So let's think about that. And then to the two teams, when the audience is applauding, please, if you're the one on the floor, pause so that the audience does not miss out on the next points or the next arguments. So let them applaud. And then pick it up from there, because then if you continue talking, then we miss out on some of the valuable points that you're putting across. And I think even as we debate this, I think let us not ignore the power of advertising in influencing society. Advertising, whether it's on television, whether it's on radio, whether it's on print or social media, does have an influence in society.
I think that was a proper introduction with a British accent. I almost waited for I Have a Dream from MKJ. Nevertheless, that was good language and topic understanding from the JAMHURI side. But nevertheless, I also expected more. You know, this point, I wanted you to put more relevant examples, both locally and internationally, because the topic was not narrowly a Kenyan topic. Open the scope. And then it is utmost, not uttermost. But I know mistakes people make. Dagoretti, someone said politics is a dirty game. And I don't want this to stick into our mind that it's a dirty game. I think the players are the ones who are dirty. But nevertheless, if you make it true, I want to point out a few things. One is just glance at the points, all right? When you have that piece of paper, glance at the points. Don't read.
So how many people feel that the proposing team had a better argument? By show of hands. How many feel that the opposing team had a better argument? The proposing side had 25 hands up. I concur with her. The opposing team had 23 hands.
The judges' vote before we incorporate the popular vote from the audience was 71% JAMHURI High School and 67% Dagoretti High School. So with the additional 5% JAMHURI High School, you get 76% and Dagoretti High School 67%.
Congratulations to both teams. The winning school is JAMHURI High School. They get to go to the next point of this competition. I've been your host, George Kariuki, and this is The Great Debaters Contest. Thank you very much.
Next week on The Great Debaters Contest.
Leo Anthony Gallagher once said that, "I wish there was a knob on the television that would turn up the intelligence." Oh wait, actually there is one. It's called brightness.
I don't believe that the average Kenyan youth spends 19 hours a week in front of the television. We have a wider education syllabus. We spend most of our time in school. So the little time we do get for leisure, we may want to spend in front of the television, but we gain much more than we lose from it.
The winning school will get an ICT chill-out zone with a widescreen TV, computers, webcam and internet connection. The teacher from the winning school will get a 100,000 shilling cash prize, and the winning students will each get a laptop, and together they all win the title The Great Debaters. May the best school win.